Hello and welcome to the 2019 Kirkwood March Madness Preview. I'm Remington Morrow. We're here getting you ready for Selection Sunday. I'm here with Cole Crutzfield, Michael Chapman. Guys, I feel like the obvious place to start with all the conference tournaments going on is Gonzaga getting upset by St. Mary in the West Coast Conference Tournament. How does this affect your standing on Gonzaga, Cole?
I don't think it affects Gonzaga that much. I do think it might, depending on how other conference tournaments turn out, I think it might bump them down to a 2 seed, and I think that'll bump LSU down to a 3 seed, if that happens.
Michael, do you feel any different about
I
Gonzaga?
really don't. I feel like they're still going to come out as a 1 seed unless you see like Kentucky get upset or like Duke. I feel like the only way that could be Gonzaga, but I don't see them like dropping.
Do you feel any different about St. Mary's? It was a pretty impressive win.
I feel like it might bump them up a little bit in the standings, not a whole lot. I don't think it'll really change that much of where they are, though.
I have
Michael?
to stay with that. I really don't think it's going to make them a big difference. Maybe 12.
Yeah, I feel like Gonzaga was so bad in that game that you kind of just have to throw it out. They were 2 of 17 for 3. That's not going to happen again.
Yeah.
And they beat St. Mary earlier in the year by like 48 points. And I think the only thing it really does for St. Mary's is they get the automatic bid for winning the tournament, and it kind of puts them in like from a 14 seed to like a 12 seed. So like me personally picking them, I don't think it really affects how I think about them that much. But there are other conference tournaments, obviously potential big games. Cole, what else do you see shaking out? We got some Big Ten teams on the bubble.
Yeah, I think it'll definitely be a Big Ten tournament, not just for all the bubble teams, but also like to see if Michigan State or Michigan can push for a 1 seed. But as for the bubble teams, I think it'll be important for Ohio State and Indiana, but also teams like Minnesota and especially Iowa, who's been playing very rough these last 5 games.
Do you think a Big Ten team like Michigan or Michigan State can get a 1 seed, and who's most likely to do it?
I think Michigan's definitely the better team. I think they would have to really dominate the Big Ten tournament, though, which I'm not saying is impossible, but I could see them pulling it off.
Michael, you're the LSU fan. If they win the SEC tournament, do you feel like they can get the 1 seed?
I feel like they could, but they're going to. I feel like more probably a Tennessee will probably get it because Tennessee's been playing really well lately.
Tennessee, Kentucky do have to play each other, though, so that'll knock one of those guys out. And then LSU only has to beat one of those teams.
Yeah.
So that makes their path easier.
Yeah. I feel like LSU could get that 1 seed if they, yeah.
Well, we know this year has been dominated by Zion Williamson, a lot of headlines, but there are obviously other players to watch in college as well. Who are some of the more exciting players? Not maybe the best players, but the exciting players to watch in the tournament.
Ja Morant out of Murray State. He's a very interesting player to watch. He's averaging a double-double right now. He's the only player in the NCAA to do that right now, and he played very well in his last game against Belmont. He had 38 points against them in the win in the OVC championship.
Yeah, super athletic, like you said, 24 and 10, averaging a double-double. Even if he has a bad game against whoever he plays, like he's going to throw down a cool dunk, he's going to make some good passes, he's going to do everything for his team. So he'll definitely be exciting to watch. Michael?
Carl Edwards out of Purdue, he's averaging 24 points per game. I mean, he's going to be a very exciting player to see play in the tournament.
Carson Edwards he comes out of that Ja Morant vein where he kind of has to do everything for his team. He's going to handle the ball a lot. He's going to score points. Even if he shoots bad, he's going to have a lot of points. I'm going to go with Kobe White, North Carolina point guard, 2nd team All-ACC this year. He had 27 points and 6 threes in 5 games this season. If he gets hot like that in the tournament, he can even take North Carolina on a run, but he's going to be fun to watch. He's going to go at you on defense. He's going to pick you up full court. He's got the big mop of hair that's going to be flopping around the entire time. It's going to be a whole lot of fun to watch. Speaking of March Madness, here at Kirkwood, our men's team is the #1 seed in the Junior College Division II Championship, and Kirkwood Student Productions put together a little introduction video for the team. Take a look. Check it out. Welcome back to the Kirkwood March Madness preview. Guys, we all know Loyola Chicago was the darling of the tournament last year. Are there any teams like Loyola Chicago this year that can maybe go on a run that's longer than any of us expect? Cole?
Yeah, I think Liberty has a chance to go at least to the Sweet 16. They started off playing Wisconsin as far as we know right now. And not anything against Wisconsin. I mean, they've been a very talented team in the Big Ten this year, but I think Liberty played extremely well in the Atlantic Sun tournament against Lipscomb. And if they beat Wisconsin, then they would play either the winner of Marquette or Ohio State and North Carolina State. And I don't think either of those three teams has really had a good season at all this year, so I think Liberty should beat them with ease if they go on to the next round.
Liberty, bold pick, 13th seed. My dad went to Liberty for a year, so I'm all in on Liberty. Michael, who do you got?
Syracuse, I think they could make a good run to the Sweet 16. You know, they didn't have a good start off the season, but they've really had a good stretch the last couple games they've played.
Good. Nobody can ever figure out the 2-3 zone that they run. They're long, they're athletic. Tice Battle can carry an offense. That's a good pick. I'm going to go with the Wofford Terriers. They're a projected 7 seed right now, according to ESPN. They just won their tournament. Maybe the hottest team in the nation. They've won 20 games in a row, so they're going in on a hot streak. Fletcher McGee, their best player, is probably the most unassuming player in college basketball. If you don't know what he looks like, guys, go look him up. He's not that scary looking. 20 points a game, 90% from the three-throw line, which is 6th in the nation. And they're 10th in offense, so they have a calling card and identity they can rely on. They can go back and forth with any team in the nation offensively. I think they have a chance to get past like a weaker 2 seed, potentially like a Michigan State or an LSU, somebody like that. In order for these teams to be these underdog teams, however, they have to be good teams. And are there any good teams that maybe we see them not quite as good as we think they are?
Yeah, I think Villanova. I mean, I know they won the championship last year, but they have just not had a great season this year. They've had some terrible losses to Furman and Penn, and I think it's really going to play onto them, and I think it's going to show that they're just not the team that they were last year.
Yeah, not necessarily the place you want to be as a defending champion. Michael, who do you got?
I think Kansas have not played good. You know, they didn't win the Big 12 tournament this year. They've just not been good. I don't think they make it very far in the tournament.
Good at home, not good on the road,
Yeah.
and you don't play at home in the NCAA tournament, that's for sure. All right, I'll throw a couple teams at you guys. How about Michigan State? They haven't made the Sweet 16 in 3 years. Is this year any different?
Yeah, I think it is. They definitely have some talented players on them, and always coached by Tom Izzo. I think they're going to have definitely a good chance to make it to the Sweet 16 this year.
I agree with them. I think they've had a really good year, so I feel like they could probably make it to the Sweet 16.
Now, Michael, we touched on LSU a little bit earlier, but I want to throw them back at you. Do you think they're real or not real this year?
I'd probably say they're real. They did beat Kentucky and Tennessee. You know, controversial win at Kentucky with the tip-in, but they've played good this year.
Cole, they're a bit of a newer team to the scene, but do you have the similar thoughts in LSU? Or?
LSU, I mean, they definitely have some talent on that team, and they definitely have some experience playing in the SEC against teams like Tennessee and Kentucky. So I'll say they're real, but I wouldn't be surprised if they get knocked out of the tournament a bit earlier than a 2 seed probably should.
All right. We earlier showed you the men's basketball intro video. Now it's time to check out the women's. Take a look. back wrapping up this Kirkwood March Madness preview. Guys, I think this is the only part of the show that people care about. It's time for you to give your Final Four predictions. Michael, who do you got?
I think LSU, North Carolina, Michigan, and then my surprise team was Syracuse.
Obviously, we don't know any of the seedings yet. The bracket doesn't come out till Sunday, but as we stand right now, Cole.
I don't think there's going to be any surprise. I think Gonzaga, even though they did lose in their conference tournament, I think they're still a really solid team and one of the best in the country. I think Virginia, they have some of the best defense in the country right now. North Carolina, I mean, they're always in. They're such a great team every year. And then I think Duke, led by Zion Williamson, I do think he gets blown up a little bit too much, but he is a very good player.
Yeah, I agree with you on a couple of those. I think Virginia gets in. Tony Bennett will make his first Final Four this year. I think Gonzaga does get in. Right now, their bracket that they're projected in is not looking very strong. It's pretty weak. They have a very easy path to get in. Duke as well. Give me the best player in the nation. Give me Zion Williamson any day of the week. That guy's incredible. And then I'll be different. I'll pick Texas Tech. Good defense, second best defense are in the nation. Like 50-some points a game they allow, which is defense will get you far in the tournament. Even if your offense is struggling, if you can hold your team to 50 points, you're going to make a run. And Jarrett Culver can go toe-to-toe with any offensive player in the nation. That guy's a stud. Any last thoughts?
No, I'll be interested to see how Iowa plays in the tournament. They've had a really rocky end to their season, losing the last 5 games, including a really poor showing against Nebraska. So it'll be interesting to see, first of all, what seed they get put in, and then how they play in their first game.
All right, well, thanks for watching this Kirkwood March Madness preview. Be sure to check out our Instagram at KSP First. We're going to be putting up brackets and doing updates throughout the entire tournament. Thanks for watching.